Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Bigdawg here, coming back with this week's NFL picks, week 8. I'll give you a heads up right now. I have a lot of people in the house, so you're gonna hear a lot of background noise. I can't really do nothing about it. I've already prolonged posting this video long enough because it's just so hard to find time to do this. But I'm gonna do this now. So we're gonna give these picks and we're gonna ignore the noise. All right. Last week, tough week. Honestly, it was a really difficult week. If you tailed my picks for the first time last week, week 7, I don't blame you if you never come back. It's been my worst week yet till the season, but you'd be making a big mistake to jump off the ship on the first week that I go under 500. I've been over 500 every single week of the year, and we're looking to get right back on track here on week 8. I like the slate a lot. All right, so let's get right into it, but don't forget, smash that like button. You know what to do. Subscribe if you are new, and drop a little comment. Comments really do help the algorithm, so I appreciate that a lot. So, first game on the slate: Rams and Cowboys. Cowboys 6 here, 6.5 in some places. This is not an easy pick because I can see this going either way, right? I can see the Cowboys defense doing what they do, really making a difference in the game, helping the Cowboys cover the spread, and having to just do enough offensively to cover because the defense is so good, or just blow them out with a bunch of points. So that's always possible with the Cowboys. However, they're facing a Rams team that has really looked a lot better than I would have thought this season. This is one of the teams that I thought would continue to just kind of rebuild, but Matthew Stafford is just so good that he finds ways to win, man. And he has some really good receivers. And there's other areas where they need help, where they could do better. But all in all, they've really overperformed this year, and it's one of the most pleasant surprises for me as a capper because I usually got them covering the spread, and there've been some good spots. So in this spot, though, I'm not going to overthink it. The Cowboys are the better team on both sides of the ball, and they should win this game, and they should cover the spread. So I'm going with the Cowboys. They got the defense, they got the offense to cover 6 points, 6.5, win by a touchdown. I don't love it, but I do like them to win this game. Money line over and under set at 45.5. I'll take the under. I'll take an under here on this one, just because of the defense um, on the Cowboys side. Okay, next game: Vikings and Packers. I like Minnesota in this. It's basically a pick 'em right now. I have seen it at -1.5. And I got the Vikings covering the spread, winning the game, over and under 41.5. I'll go with the under in this game. And I will say this though: there's sometimes certain lines that you look at them and you're like, "This is a trap," because the line doesn't make sense. This could be a trap game, and that's what this is to me. I think the way that the Vikings have just recently not dominated, but upsetted the 49ers, who are a really good team. Even though Purdy did get hurt there towards the end, but continue to play. They look good. I saw the game, and I like the kind of chemistry that Kirk Cousins is building with Addison, Osborne, and all his receivers. TJ Hawk, we already know what's up. Um, yeah, I like it. They're using Cam Akers a little more. He's basically taking Madison's job. Um, I think this is a Vikings team that's looking better. Brian Flores is doing a good job with the defense. He really is. Um, he really, really is. So the Packers have shown me nothing that I could be excited to bet them to win any game right now, the way that they've been playing. So to me, the Vikings should be favored by at least a field goal in this game, if not a little more, but they're not. It's only a pick 'em. So that's why I say I think it's a trap spot. This is one of those games that I look at, I'm like, this is too easy. Vikings win, let's just move on to the next game. And then I look at the line, I'm like, wait, what does Vegas know that I don't know? And maybe it's about Aaron Jones, being back. It's the second game back. Maybe it's about the Packers being at home. I don't know what it is, but it's a trap. The line doesn't make sense to me. But I'm going with the Vikings here in this one, nonetheless. Okay, next game, Falcons and Titans. I'm on the Falcons side. I think they cover the field goal minus 2.5, under 35. I do think it's going to be a low scoring game. However, 35 is really low. And I learned my lesson earlier this year. When the line looks that low, you really, really, really should consider just taking the over, because just one good drive, one good quarter where both teams have a good drive, 14 points, boom, that's it. I mean, the points add up quickly. So 35, I'll take it. Give me the over. I'll sweat that out. I like the Falcons to win. I don't like Desmond Ritter very much. However, he has so many pieces around him, and the Falcons have a really good defense that he's staying alive in these games. The Falcons are 4-3. I'll be honest with you. I like more what I'm seeing from the Falcons than I am seeing on the Saints. And the chemistry on the Falcon side seems to be much better than what's going on with the Saints. And we'll talk about them more in this next game. But yeah, I like what I see from them. The Titan looks like they're starting to accept that they need to rebuild. I'm talking about trading Derrick Henry and some other guys. I think that we're going to start to see the Titans fall and try to prepare a better squad for future years. With that being said, it is Mike Drabel, and they do have a decent team, um, minus Ryan Tannehill. But I see these teams headed in different directions at this time. So I'm going to take the Falcons. Falcons win, they cover, and over 35 in that game. Saints and Colts. This is one of those games. Every week, there's like one or two games that you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And this is one of those games because it could go so many different ways. And the biggest question mark is with the Saints because you don't know which version of the Saints is going to show up. And based on last game, and I don't know how many of you guys really saw that game, man, but I mean, Carr was yelling at his receivers and he looked like annoyed. Everybody, there's something wrong there. They're not meshing well. There's some miscommunication, some disagreement maybe on some plays or the receivers running their routes. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't like it. And I'm not one to really back a team that, I mean, isn't even getting along or having that difficulty that way. Their defense is what keeps them in the game. That's what I've seen with the Saints. Their offense struggles, and then the defense comes up, makes a big play, keeps them in the game, and then keeps them in the game long enough in the fourth quarter for Derek Carr to, have a chance, work some magic, and then before you know it, oh wow, the game's close and the game is decided on one possession. But it's really been the defense; it's not the offense. And I'm expecting that here again. So the question is, do we think that Minshew and the Colts will win that final drive when the Saints find themselves back in the game in the fourth quarter because of their defense? Can the Colts keep it up? So what I'm doing is, and I'm giving you right now one of my strategies to make sure I win on one end or the other. I'm going to pick the Saints to win on that last minute magical play. Um, but I'm going to pick the Colts to cover. So I'm on both sides. The Colts cover, give them a hard time. The Saints barely win by one, or maybe they flat out lose, but at least I covered with the Colts. So that's what I'm going with here. Minshew has looked good. The Colts have actually looked better than the Saints, but um, the Saints defense is really strong, and I see them causing more turnovers for Minshew and company. So give me the Saints. I almost picked them to cover, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. I'm not gonna do that to myself. Saints win, Colts cover. 43 and a half is the over and under. I just said I think it's all about the Saints defense for the season. For the last like 13 games, they've gone under 12 and over and one, something like that. Some crazy statistic. So I'm going to go with the stats. And 43 and a half is kind of that average mark where you start to say, okay, now they're going over the average. So I'll stick with under the average here, under that 43, and give me the under in that game. Patriots and Dolphins. So there's a lot of question marks here in this game. If you guys didn't know that yet, with Tyreek Hill, who probably won't play. Waddle was questionable, but everything I read kind of is pointing in the right direction. So there's some injury concerns there on the Dolphins side. And the Patriots, we saw what they just did, flat out uh, beat the Bills. If football isn't crazy for you enough, the Patriots beat the Bills after they were like on a 3 or 4 game losing streak. Um, and then now they're going to go on to play a team that the Bills beat. The Bills beat Dolphins pretty handedly. I think it was by over 2 possessions. Um, and now they're 9.5 underdogs, and I think that they might cover. So it's crazy. Football makes no sense sometimes. But I am going with the Patriots to cover this game. I think that they will, especially the Dolphins are a little beat up. I think the Dolphins are going to win. But the Patriots cover. I was looking into some things, and it looks like the Patriots. I mean, they got beat up defensively, right? They lost a couple key guys. They were making some adjustments on the defensive end, and it took them a while. And it looks like now they're starting to figure out who is, going to play each position defensively, and who's going to get the job done. And um, that's one of the reasons that they were able to keep up with the Bills. So I'll say that I'm going to go in the direction of the Patriots are now the team that I thought that most of us thought they were going to be this year, which is not a great team, but a team that could hang, right? A good team who's going to win some, lose some, but keep games competitive and not just get blown out by 30 points. I mean, that's not who the Patriots are, I don't think, from what I've seen when I watched their games. And they got a couple pieces there. So I'm gonna back them up and say, hey, they've turned the corner, they've figured things out, and they're gonna keep games close. I do not think they're gonna beat the Dolphins. I am not going to predict an upset on this game. I think the Dolphins are legit. I know some people are trying to talk. Oh, you say I told you the Dolphins are frauds. The Dolphins are not frauds at all. They're really good. Tyreek might win MVP this year. Tua is amazing. Waddle is great. But they need those 3 guys, right? If either Tua gets hurt or if Waddle gets hurt or Hill, they're not. Those 3 guys are not all in there. They're going to have issues, right? But if those 3 guys are in the game, you can bet your money the Dolphins are going to keep it close or flat out win. Yeah. So let's move on to the next game. Dolphins win. Patriots cover. 47 is the point spread. I'll go with under. I'll go with under. I think the Patriots can play good defense, keep it close. If the Dolphins are dealing with some injury concern here with Tyreek Hill, they're gonna have to make some adjustments on the offense. That might take a little while before they put up a couple points in the later in the game. As the game progresses, I think we have maybe a first quarter with not a lot of points. So yeah, give me under the 47 in that game. Patriots cover, Dolphins win as they're supposed to. Jets Giants. This is going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Am I looking forward to capping it and telling you my picks for this game? No, I'm not. I'm really not. Because it could go so many different ways, but I think it's going to be a good one to watch. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points. I'll start with my most confident pick. The over and under is 35.5. That 0.5. See, earlier we were talking about the Falcons and Titans who were at 35, and I wanted to take right over it. This one's 35.5. Vegas is trying to get us with that 0.5. I'm going to play the under. These are 2 good defensive teams, Jets especially, Giants turning the corner defensively. And both these offenses are kind of suspect, right? Zach Wilson, and I think we get Daniel Jones back. They have not really been, putting up 20 points easily on anybody. They're just kind of been hanging in there. So I'm really confident on that under 35.5. I would probably buy on that, tease it up. to the 41 and a half. I don't see how this game goes over 41 and a half without a crazy fourth quarter or overtime. But yeah, this is going to be a low scoring game. Now, who do I think wins? The Giants' problem this year has been their offensive line. Their offensive line has not uh, been able to protect the quarterback and give him time. Tyrod Taylor looked better than Daniel Jones at it, but I think they've just been making adjustments. I'm not saying that Taylor is better than Daniel Jones at this point. I'm a Giants fan, by the way, if you didn't know that. So I mean, I want the Giants to win. I like Daniel Jones, but it's tough. So you combine that with this Jets defense has been relentless, and the offense is starting to play better. And Zach Wilson's is starting to figure out this offensive scheme. I think the Jets win. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it again. Jets win, Giants cover, and give me the under. Yeah, I'm not going to say much more than that. I could talk all day about Waller, Brees Hall, and these guys, but let's leave it at that. Situation going on with Cook. He's not happy, but okay. There's too many games. Let's try to speed things up now. Jaguars and Steelers, another game that you just don't know who's going to show up, especially for the Steelers. We've been seeing what the Jaguars are about, and they're really proving to be legit, really super legit. And then they just beat the Bills too. So I'm going with the better team to win the game. I'm going with the Jaguars. -2. I'm gonna double up again. I'm gonna double up again. Jaguars win, Steelers cover. And I feel terrible doing it, but I'm gonna win one of those. One of those is gonna count on my record. I'm going with Jaguars to win, Steelers to cover. I'm not gonna say much more than that. The over and under is 40 and a half. I want to say under, but these two teams are good. They're gonna fight. I'll give a fourth quarter where, well, I mean, that's what Kenny Pickett has been doing anyway. It's like he's asleep the first three quarters. In the fourth, he's like, wait a minute, I'm going to lose this game. I got to figure something out. And then he actually goes out there and puts up a good performance. So I say that happens again, and they push this game. Was going to look like an under game. They push it over right in the fourth quarter in one of those final possessions. So Jaguars win. Steelers cover. Give me the over 40 and a half. Eagles and Commanders. This should be easy, right? Eagles are the better team, one of the best teams in the NBA. Commanders are struggling. They're not that good. They're good. They're okay. They're a mediocre team. Um, and the Eagles should just come in there and beat the Commanders handedly, and we can move on to the next game. But we look at the history, and the Commanders play really good against the Eagles. The Commanders forced, I think, overtime this year against the Eagles, and the Eagles barely beat them. So um, the question is, what are we going to get this game? Does the better team just straight up win handedly, or do the Commanders once again give them a hard time, possibly even win this game, or they at least cover the spread? I'm going to follow my instinct and what I think is going to happen. I think because the last game was so close, the Eagles are going to try to, and I forgot to tell you this. The Commanders beat the Eagles last year and took away their undefeated record, just so you know. But back to what I think is going to happen in this game. I think this is going to be a situation where now a lot of people know that the Commanders play the Eagles well. The Eagles know that the Commanders play them well. They're going to make some adjustments and do everything they can to avoid going back into overtime and playing a close game. So I think the Eagles blow them out. I think the Eagles make a statement here and say, hey, we are the better team. You guys are not that good. Our defense is better than yours. We're going to get to your QB. And as much as I really like Sam Howell, he loves, and I hate this, but he loves to hold on to that ball way too long. He really does. So Eagles sack him a couple times. Give me the Eagles. They cover the spread, and they go over that 43 and a half. Yeah, yeah, over the 43 and a half. I see that here. Commanders will put up a couple points, but no, I'm sorry. Eagles go on to be 7-1. Commanders drop to 3-5. Texans Panthers. Well, we all know what the storyline here is, and I'll be honest, it concerns me. I look at this game and it's simple, right? Texans have been better. Texans have been much better than the Panthers. They win, they cover under 43 and a half. That's what I want to come out here and tell you guys, right? The problem is these storylines, they make a difference. And we have a storyline here